An explosion in the backyard of the home where Xhisiela Maloku lives in Fushkuria has returned the spotlight to her case. She accused the ranks of the opposition of being behind the attack. According to the Prime Minister, Basha does not want electoral reform because he wants to share power by tabling an agreement. The opposition leader denied this claim, saying a request was never made. Business has urged the government to include changes in the fiscal package for 2019, such as energy and water price reductions and a VAT reduction for bread. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Monday, the 8th of October 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. Yesterday, an explosion occurred at approximately 11:30 p.m. at the home of Xhisiela Maloku's grandparents in Larushka, Fushkuria. Xhisiela Maloku has been thrown into the spotlight again after denouncing the son of the Socialist MP Rama. Speaking about the incident today, Xhisiela Maloku made statements from inside a car. Addressing Korea police, the 25-year-old said that the explosion was part of the opposition's political games. When questioned by Aura News, Xhisiela Maloku said she would now accept the protection order, but did not feel threatened by the family of her ex-boyfriend, Rama, who is currently in prison, but because she feels threatened by the opposition. Setting off explosives is quite clear. It was prepared by the Democratic Party and the opposition to attack directly. Only I know the truth. I am not threatened by the Raya family. Until yesterday, the hypothesis was that I was threatened by the Raya family, but this is not the case. Actually, the first phone call I made after the explosion happened was to a cousin of Recep, Ramazan Raya, who came here and then left. The second was me informing the police. I went out and told the truth as it was. They played a political game. I am Xhisiela and I know, only I, no one can put any other ulterior hypothesis, said Xhisiela Maloku. But while the 25-year-old raised charges against the opposition, her grandparents, the house owners, told Aura News that they could not stand to accuse anyone. We know nothing. We cannot blame anyone. The event took place around midnight and we were very afraid. We went into the yard after the explosion feeling threatened. We have no idea who could have thrown it. We only knew about it when we heard the noise. We went outside frightened and saw that they had thrown explosives, said Xhisiela's grandmother. Earlier, Prime Minister Rama targeted the opposition, saying that the explosive in the family residence of Xhisiela Maloku only interested those who publicly abused. The explosion, which occurred at Xhisiela's house, is being used by politics. The explosive at Maloku's house is related with those who violated her every day, said Rama. The blast occurred shortly before midnight in the yard that Rama Mucha house yard, the grandfather of Xhisiela, shares with his brother, Besim Mucha. The suspicions surrounding the incident included that there was only about 100 grams of explosives thrown, not enough to cause damage, only panic. The incident has resulted in renewed interest in what has been the most talked about issue of recent times. 9 people, including 4 of Recep Raya's relatives, were accompanied and questioned at the police station regarding the explosion, though police are still working to confirm the identity of the true authors. Confident with the results achieved in the fight against crime and using irony against the opposition, Prime Minister Rama commented on the prosecutor's conclusions regarding the audio tapping case. It was disclosed before the parliamentary group and the public that the alleged actor in the recording told the prosecutor he agreed to do so because he would be paid, but he did not receive the money promised. While in the case of Xhisiela, the Prime Minister was impressed by the signature of his former minister, Clyda Jorsha, to expel Talent Bala from the Stabilisation and Settlement Committee. Being sure that his MP was not in the police station based on film evidence, Rama made an open challenge to Socialist Movement for Integration MP. Rama expressed suspicions about the placement of the explosives in the yard of the violated woman. Rama permeated that his government has fought crime at every moment and the success against this phenomenon will be the same with success in fight against cannabis, warning of new arrests on the operation of the rule of law. Although the Socialists have proposed electronic voting in 200 polling stations, the opposition reacted by continuing to boycott the Commission. Speaking before the parliamentary group, Prime Minister Rama said the opposition does not accept this proposal because, according to him, the Democrat leader has personally said that he wants to allocate power by an agreement on the table. Now that we have been working to implement electronic voting in 2 or 3 pilot areas for the local elections, the opposition says that they do not want it. What do they want? Luli said, power on agreement on the table. Once you, once I, but it's the only thing I cannot give to Luli. I can give him half my heart, but I cannot give him power because the citizens will not give the power to him, said Eddie Rama. Asked about this statement, Basha himself categorically denied that he refused such a proposal. Basha said that Rama has agreements to co-govern with crime. Stupidity and lies to cover the panic that has struck every Albanian who knows that Eddie Rama is held in power only through his co-governance with crime. Through the pressure of citizens, opposition and the international factor, the foundations of this power, of this co-governance with crime, are shaking. I have never wanted and will never ask for power on the table or power with violence. The DP and our coalition will come into government with a free vote. Come in to listen to our platform and to free the election process, said Basha. The Socialists have recently introduced electoral code amendments drafted by experts and will introduce these changes at a roundtable tomorrow. Despite the fact that electoral reform is one of the EU's conditions to open the way for integration, the SP and DP have not yet found common ground. Both the SP and DP thought to come up with their own proposals for electoral reform. The main focus is the elimination of criminal intervention into elections, with DP leader Basha presenting today the 4 pillars of their reform draft, which claims will prevent vote buying in elections. The 4 pillars are: number 1, decriminalisation of the electoral process; number 2, system of measures to protect against vote buying; 3, campaigning and the election process to be fully funded by the state; and number 4, the use of technology to vote. The chair added that the technology was needed because in Kuria and all over the country, we do not compete in elections with the socialists, but with the criminals. Decriminalisation will include vetting of politicians and police by independent structures, while the electoral campaign should be funded 100% from the state budget. For DP media coverage, it is more evasive when it says that international practices should be followed, leaving this point unclear. Regarding the measures for the sale of the vote, DP proposes the creation of a task force by referring to experience in technical governments in 2017. Basha mentioned names that, according to him, have an impact on politics. Basha said, wherever there are serious crimes, there are links to the authors with the elections. Bayret in Shkodra, the same in Elbasan, from Chelai to Sanjaktari with friends in Durrës, Berisha's bands, Plarenter Vichy. In Dibra, Umerlala, Ragami in Korcha, in Tirana, although some have been detained and some are in prison, you still have others from Shulazi to Dritandaiti, said Basha. Basha also left open the possibility for other changes to the electoral code, such as changes to the number of MPs from 140 to 100 and dividing Parliament into 2 chambers. Removing paid advertising in the electoral campaign as part of the May 17 deal for the chair of the opposition, Basha, is no longer valid. That's because that deal was not respected and the details should be rediscovered. The proposal to ban paid advertising for 3 months for Politico.al director Alfred Lela is unfair since parties force the media to stream tapes. According to Lela, ads are at least identified as being paid, and now there is no more information since the ones being transmitted in themselves are advertisements shot by their press officers at political parties. According to Lela, advertising is not the only form of propaganda and has doubted that without having the opportunity of advertising on television, parties can use this space for other unlawful ways of buying votes. Alfred Lela said the policy should at least have been sitting with the media to find a common solution despite the cost that this meeting may have. The Business Association in the country has asked the Albanian government to lower the price of electricity and water as, compared to the region, Albanian businesses pay twice as much for utilities. Albania Business President Luan Bregasi declared that the requests were submitted to the Minister of Finance, Arben Ahmetaj, to be included in the draft fiscal package for 2019. Also, Bregasi has proposed a VAT reduction for bread as it is one of the most consumed products in the country. Regarding the changes proposed by the government, business appreciates the positive but suggests that the higher wage tax should decrease further to increase formalisation. The fiscal package for next year is expected to start discussions in parliamentary committees soon and then to pass in Parliament for voting. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.